Hey guys, what's up? It's Nathan here. And I'm kind of taking a break from doing this today to kind of do a little bit of a different video because there's been a lot of like emotions that have kind of been hitting me recently. And so I wanted to kind of take this opportunity to do a video because this year I hit my 10th year on YouTube. And so there's been a lot of kind of emotions and a lot of thoughts that have kind of hit my brain. And I wanted to kind of do a video to talk about kind of my retrospective on that, because when I started this channel I was like 12, and um and it's been a journey, and so I kind of wanted to do a video in order to kind of discuss that, because there's a lot of YouTubers that have been on here for a very long time, and a lot of them are really big YouTubers, and so I wanted to kind of do a similar style of video, but from the other side of that coin, which is a YouTuber who never made it a hobby, or who never made it a job, and who's deliberately kept it as a hobby. So when I started YouTube in 2015, I was 12 years old. I started it in I think May of 2015, shortly before I started going to middle school. And it was something that I really enjoyed because I could talk about my interests, and I could just be myself, and there were people that would watch. And my original channel is no longer up. I originally, and this is about the most genuine you're gonna get from me, because I'm incredibly embarrassed by a lot of my early content. But my original channel, because I couldn't think of a better name apparently, was called Cup of Cuteness. And I eventually got rid of that name and just changed it to my standard name. And it was definitely a learning process. I was like I said, I was a 12-year-old, and I didn't know how to edit. I started this on a random ass like $30 Hisense tablet. And I mean, so my YouTube kind of journey started there, but it didn't actually, like, my story kind of goes well before that, because what started me on wanting to do YouTube was the content that I was watching on YouTube, which was at that point primarily Lego. There were several people that I watched. There was the people I watched for the reviews, sure. There was the Jang bricks, there was the brick formula, there was those people, but then there were also the animators that I've wanted to emulate for so long. There was the D. Tenaglia Studios, the Amazing Lego 123 Productions, the Forest Fire 101s, those amazing animators who made some truly nostalgic things for me, and I watched them when I was younger, and I mean, with DeTenaglia Studios and Amazing Lego, I still watch them pretty frequently. Just because I really like the story. And, and that's the other thing, I'm a essentially lifetime Ninjago fan, ever since it came out. In 2011, I had a Lego Club DVD that I got in the mail because I was a member of the Lego Club. So I got it with a magazine, and it was in 2011, and on it was the shorts, not the pilots. I didn't see the pilots until about a year later, but ever since I saw the shorts, the ones, there's, I think it was Flight of the Dragon Ninja. There was the one where Cruncha and Knuckles steal the golden weapons and then immediately put them back. There were several of them that were on there, I think. There were like 3 or 4. And those were a big part of my life. And like that got me really interested in Ninjago. And then when I saw the pilots, and then I saw the new season, I say the new season, the 2012 season, I got a few of those sets, and I kind of got obsessed. And, Ninjago, as far as, like, consistently me being interested in a topic, Ninjago's one of those that has probably stood the test of time the best, because, as you can see, I still love Ninjago. And so I think that, like, that's a big part of my identity, and that was a big part of what I watched when I was a kid. I grew up on stop motions and stuff like that. I watched a lot of Lego Indiana Jones stop motions because obviously I love Ninjago, but Lego Indiana Jones is probably I think it's still my favorite theme of all time. I unfortunately don't have that many sets from it, but I have been able to snag a few of my favorites over the years. And Indiana Jones is one of my favorite. I mean, it's my favorite movie series, and it's definitely my favorite, like, Lego theme, probably. It's up there for sure. And so before I even got into Ninjago, I watched Lego Indiana Jones stuff. I watched Lego Batman stuff, which is another one of my favorite themes, the 2006 to 2008 Lego Batman theme, which I have never gotten a set from, so that's a shame, but whatever. I obviously watched Lego Star Wars stuff. There was a lot of that. There were a lot of themes that I really liked back in the day. The problem that I ran into initially was that by the time that I got into those, in like 2012, because I've been into Lego for probably since like 2007, 2008, but it wasn't all Lego. I started, I think it might have been my first Lego set. It's the first Lego set I remember distinctly was, because I think I had a couple of like City and Pirate sets, like the 2009 sets. But I think my first like Lego set that I remember distinctly was the Indiana Jones Ambush in Cairo set. And that is a set that I remember very distinctly that kind of got me into a lot of the online Lego content. Like I said, the Indiana Jones stop motions, like Indiana Jones and the Platinum Waffle. That still makes me laugh because it's a really funny idea. and it was actually animated really well, especially for the time, and it was just really funny. I still find it quite funny. And the thing is that like I'm 22 now, and the fact that that can still make me laugh is insane. And so what I think though, that's kind of what got me into Lego in YouTube. I watched a lot of stuff on YouTube when it comes to, Lego content. And then, as far as Ninjago goes, I've been a fan since essentially the very beginning. And, that's a very important part of my childhood. Unfortunately, I was a kid, so I wasn't able to get a lot of the sets. I became obsessed. I watched the first 2 seasons, and then I became obsessed when Rebooted came out. So I got several of those sets. I got the Mech Dragon, I got the Battle for Ninjago City, I got the Hover Hunter, I got the Ninja Copter, I got the Thunder Raider, that kind of thing. The 2012 wave, I didn't get a whole lot. I did get eventually at one point. I got the Ultrasonic Raider back in that time, 2013, 2012, because I remember I got it on clearance. I don't know why I remember that, but that's what happens when you're nostalgic 22-year-old with ADHD. But like and a hyperfixation. But I like Ninjago is a big part of my life, and so it's kind of fitting that I went back to it. And I kept watching content, Tenaglia Studios' whole Ninjago like series. I watched since before Curse of Moro, and I kind of just kept watching. It left a lasting impact on me as someone who's always wanted to do stop motion, and so it's been really cool to kind of see that. Amazing Lego 123 Productions, he's still producing content. It's really, really cool. A lot of those animators really inspired me. I went through a lot of I also really liked Minecraft, and I liked custom minifigures. MGF Customs was a big channel that I watched. I'm still subscribed to him. And then but that channel, the Cup of Cuteness channel that would later just become my name, no longer exists. And the reason is because I registered it with my school email, and so it's gone. So from 2015 to 2017, that channel is now gone. Or no, 2018, I think. I don't know. I stopped uploading on it in 2018. Because I created what would eventually become this channel. And I don't remember what I called it originally. I'll be honest. I think it was supposed to be an Earth-related channel initially, and then it just kept growing and growing and growing when it comes to like what I wanted to do on it. And so and then a few years ago, I finally gave it its name that's lasted this long, which is definitely Natix. And so that was kind of how I got onto this channel, because it was a really important stepping stone for me, because at that point I was in high school. I was more selective with what I uploaded. I was more, I guess I wanted to be more professional with what I uploaded. And so that was something that I was determined to try and do some more involved stuff on this channel. And I was in high school, so I was doing a lot of other things, but eventually I got it to where it is. I got heavily involved in the Nerf community, and I'm still involved in the Nerf community. I still enjoy it. I still have a lot of Nerf blasters. A lot. Like a logistical problem. But it's not like I was involved back then. I still go to Nerf events. You know, I went to the last Jared's Epic Blaster Battle this summer. I have gone to End War a couple of times, and I'm planning on going again. I visited Captain Xavier up at his workshop. You know, that kind of thing, and it's definitely something that I enjoy for sure. And I still really do. But I mean, Lego has been a part of my life for more than a decade at this point, and you know, for most of my life. And so I kind of have I've kind of unconsciously pivoted back to it. And like this channel and the channel that came before had a lot of impact on me, like as a kid and as an adult. You know, what you see on YouTube is a very recent development. You know, I really struggled with, you know, social skills as a kid, and I really struggled with making friends and all of that. And so, you know, this what has always been an outlet for me to kind of talk about my interests and show what I've been working on, kind of in a community where people will actually be interested. Whereas where I was growing up, you know, that was not the case. Most people weren't that interested. Some people were, but you know, they weren't super interested. And so this has always been an outlet for me to kind of show my interests and talk about what I want to talk about. And you know, that's something that is really vital for me as a creator, is being passionate about what I'm passionate about, and that's something that I really enjoy. And one of the things that I want to do eventually is, and I hope I can do this soon, is I want to start making stop motions, like Decenaglia Studios used to, and like Amazing Lego 123 does. I have absolutely no clue how to do that, because as is the same with basically all of my content for the last several years, I do essentially the bare minimum of editing. So this will definitely be a change. And I will continue to make other types of videos. I will eventually go back to making Nerf content. And like, I will definitely do that, but it's just one of those things that I'm not as passionate about right now. So, you know, I'm gonna kind of diversify. I plan on keeping the YouTube channel active. You know, it's not going to be like every single day, because I have a job and I'm in college. So, you know, I'd rather the algorithm not kill me. But, you know, that's something that I'm going to be working on, and that's something that I'm going to find pretty challenging. But, you know, challenging yourself is really important. And so it's just kind of surreal, though, that I've been on YouTube for 10 years at least. You know, I started my channel 10 years ago, and I sure as hell did not plan on having my channel this long. I just kind of, it's just kind of kept going, and I enjoy it. You know, I haven't made a cent on this channel. I don't plan on it ever, because it's a hobby. I've never wanted to turn it into a job. I would much prefer it to stay a hobby, because that keeps my investment in it as someone who doesn't want to get burnt out. And that's why I take breaks, is because I'm either busy or I do sometimes just get burnt out. And so this is a way for me to keep going and to continue on this train of making more and more and more content. So for those of you who've been around for a long time, and especially those who moved from the old channel to the new channel, thank you for your support. And this could not be possible without you. Every subscriber that I have, I sincerely really value. I mean, I don't have many, and so I really do appreciate everyone who watches my videos, who comments, who likes, who subscribes. All of that. That is just awesome to me. I never expected to get to this point, and so I really do appreciate it. I've gone through a lot of change, and so has my channel, but I'm glad that I can still provide content that people enjoy. Even if it's just one or two people, that's the goal. And I appreciate everyone who's been involved in the channel. All the people I've collaborated with, every single comment I've received, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds after 10 years of YouTube. So with that being said, I would like to thank you all very much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment what you think about these kind of discussion kind of videos. I mean, I've rambled for over 20 minutes, so that's something, but just let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in a different video. Bye guys. Thanks for 10 years.